We were at that ridiculously pricey bistro. She insisted on crisp, white linens. Forced politeness painted on like bad makeup. Her friends cackled too loudly. Wine glasses magically refilled before ever going dry. I sat pressed against the corner of the booth, like a guest at someone else's party. Then she said it. He's great with kids, but he's not a real man. I didn't twitch, didn't react, just took another sip of water, and let her venom slide down slow. She laughed like people do. When cruelty hides behind a punchline, her friends joined in. I etched every grin into memory. Didn't speak, didn't defend, just paid the check and left. They were still chuckling when I stepped outside. But when the matte black Escalade pulled up and she spotted who was behind the wheel, her amusement cracked like thin ice. My sister, Marine Corps, combat hardened, ink sleeves and silent authority, nodded once. I climbed in, and just before the tinted glass swallowed me, I saw her face fall. We used to be good. She once adored how steady I was, how I soothed our son's nightmares, how I made dinners when she came home late, how I built his crib without help or instructions. But that affection soured. The second I stopped feeding her reflection, when I took paternity leave, she told her group I was playing house. When I chose our kids' piano recital, over guys' night, she laughed like I'd lost manhood. She wanted someone loud, commanding, the type who barked orders, cut off waiters mid-sentence, slammed doors for punctuation. She wanted her father. I wasn't him. Thank God. Still, I loved her too long. The first fracture wasn't her words. It was a ping, a text she never meant for me to see, a message to her friends. He literally sobs at Disney movies. I married a glorified babysitter. I didn't bring it up. I just watched. Watched how she dismissed me when I spoke. Watched her flirt with the cafe guy. The realtor, the pediatrician, always almost inappropriate. Watched her scoff. When I hugged our son longer than she approved. So I began to vanish. Quietly. No drama. Just distance. She didn't notice. Narcissists rarely do. Not until silence starts echoing. I cleaned up my finances. Got a second phone. Began documenting everything. Each jab. Each belittling smirk. Each time she told our son his dad was too soft. Met a lawyer. Quiet voice. Steel eyes. Zero tolerance for manipulators. We built a case. Screenshots, bank records, notes from our shared therapist, all airtight. Then the nanny cam, not for our son, for her. A month in, it caught her, bringing home a colleague, drunk, shirt halfway undone. She kissed our boy goodnight, with someone else's cologne on her blouse. Still didn't confront. Started making dinner for two again. Held her hand. Smiled, the way you do, before pulling a pin. That dinner with her friends? My final setup. I knew she'd slip. She always did when playing Queen Bee. And she did. Not a real man. I rose, paid, walked, left her in the silence. She'd long earned. The Escalade came, and everything started unraveling. She came home, to a closet without my things. I'd taken the essentials. Clothes, journals, our son's photos. Left behind the frame. She called, over and over. I picked up on the 21st try. Where are you? Someplace quiet. You took him. He asked to come. She shouted, threatened lawyers. I told her to check her inbox. There she found it all. The custody motion, the videos, the screenshots, a list of character witnesses, a therapist's evaluation, and one final blow, a resignation letter from her boss, who stepped down after seeing our evidence compilation, dates, times, hotel names. She collapsed on the stand, cried, called me distant, manipulative, but the court didn't buy it. The judge watched the clips, heard the audio, read her group chat out loud, with that clinical sting. Only a courtroom voice delivers. Full custody. House granted to me. No alimony. She didn't speak, just sat with clenched teeth, mascara bleeding regret. I didn't celebrate, just repainted the walls. Built our son a better bookcase. She moved in with her sister. then out, then into a tiny apartment she couldn't afford. Without that job, word is she's smaller now, quieter. I've grown, not louder with my voice, but in the ways that matter. Our son sleeps through the night, eats everything, laughs freely, sometimes in the park. When he runs up, hugs me for no reason. I wonder how many men would trade their anger for this kind of peace? Because I never raised my voice, never needed to. I just watched, listened, waited, and when the moment was right, I let her speak first, let the world see her. Then I told my story. Silence isn't surrender. It's a battlefield strategy. And I won.